Hi, it's Mr. Ripka, reading Neruda during Corona. And we have reached poem LXX, poem 70. Poem 70 has 5 questions. I do want to show you a little something here. Poem 70, 5 questions. You can see right there. There's something special about poem 70 in many ways. One way is that it actually goes on to poem 71. So you have 5 more poems here on 71, 5 more questions that actually continue the theme from poem 70. So in order to fully embrace and understand poem 70, you kind of have to read poem 71. And so we're going to do both together. That means, folks, we are going to have 10 questions today. And these are dark. I forewarn you. They are about Hitler. So we have seen a lot of interesting imagery with Neruda. And those who have read his poems before, besides the Book of Questions, they know about the suffering of others, which he likes to write about. He writes about suffering. You know that too from here. There's quite a bit of questions about suffering. But he also has poems that are about the suffering of others that come at the hands of a political or social discrimination, a social or political pathology. And so we will not be surprised by his political questions here, because we know that Pablo Neruda writes poetry about those who have suffered because of those who are in political power, or perhaps just social systemic discrimination. And Hitler obviously had systemic discrimination. So Mr. Neruda here essentially is in poems 70 and 71, he is essentially asking, what is Hitler doing right now in hell? And then he has questions, and it becomes like a Nerudian Dante's Inferno. It's sort of Neruda's punishments, and he's kind of asking which punishments would be appropriate for a guy who is so heinous. And so let's see what he says. He says, the first question is, ¿Cuál es el trabajo forzado de Hitler en el infierno? And there it is, and that in English was, what forced labor, trabajo forzado, does Hitler do in hell? So you can see it's this Dante scene in a way, this Dante's Inferno, where you have people and the sinners are punished according to their crime, according to their sin. Here he's wondering, well, what sort of punishment would be according to Hitler's sin? Let's go to the next question. He says, pinta paredes o cadáveres, olfatea el gas de sus muertos. Cadavers, gas. The next one says, le dan a comer las cenizas de tantos niños calcinados. We have ashes, cenizas. We have niños, children, and then calcinados, burnt. The next question, o le han dado desde su muerte, de beber sangre en el embudo. We have blood being drunk from a funnel. Beber, to drink, sangre, blood, en un embudo, through a funnel. The last one for poem 70, and then we'll go read the English questions and then move to 71. But the last one is, o le martillan en la boca los arracados dientes de oro. Oro, the mouth, of course. And then we had dientes, the teeth. Let's see what punishments Neruda has in store. for old Hitler. Once again, the first question says, what forced labor does Hitler do in hell? Does he paint walls or cadavers? He's just sitting there in hell painting a wall. I wonder why he would choose walls. Is it because Hitler divides, sets up walls between people? So now he's painting them? Or painting cadavers? I think we know that he spearheaded one of the most atrocious historical events ever. The next one says, does he sniff the fumes of the dead as his punishment? Wow. Olfatea el gas. So the gas, the fumes of the dead. Do they feed him the ashes of so many burnt children? Who are the they here? Is it the demons in hell or the devils? Is it the cadavers? It's just a they. Le dan. A comer. They feed him. What else does Neruda have in store for punishment for Hitler? It says, or since his death, have they given him blood to drink from a funnel? And last one, or do they hammer into his mouth the pulled gold teeth? They hammer into his mouth the pulled gold teeth. I wonder if that means the gold teeth that maybe the doctors, the Nazi doctors, pulled out of mouths, or I'm not sure if that happened, but however they got the gold teeth, he's wondering, is that a punishment of Hitler? Do they just hammer into his mouth pulled out gold teeth? It's a curious punishment so far. We have 5 punishments. Is he painting walls or cadavers? Is he sniffing the fumes of the dead? Is he eating, like feeding ashes, eating ashes, being forced to eat ashes of burnt children? Is he drinking blood, or are they hammering stuff into his mouth? So there's a lot of drinking, eating, and mouth stuff in the last 3, and then the other one is painting and smelling. So it's sort of smelling as a punishment. You know, I think some versions of hell, it stinks. It's nasty. That's part of the punishment. So I could see that. And then the food, you know, he's eating and he's drinking blood, and it's pretty disgusting. Well, poem 71, LXXI, continues with this or. And you can see all the O's right there. It has O, 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 O. And this one had cloud. Yes. And then you have the questions, and then you have O, O. So he keeps going into the next one with the O, 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 O. So he says, O le acuestan para dormir sobre sus alambres de púas. O le están tatuando la piel para lámparas del infierno. O lo muerden sin compasión los negros mastines de fuego. O debe de noche y de día viajar sin tregua con sus presos. O debe morir sin morir eternamente bajo el gas. And then he ends with that gas. It's a powerful ending. Here it's translated as gas, although gas over here was translated by this guy as fumes. Either way. So we know the major question driving all of these is, what forced labor does Hitler do in hell? Poem 71 continues the forced labor theme and offers 5 more potential punishments. It says, or do they lay him down to sleep on his barbed wire? Woo! Alambres de púas. Or are they tattooing his skin for the lamps in hell? Le están tatuando la piel para lámparas del infierno. Tattooing his skin for the... Oh, I wonder if that means they're going to skin him, tattoo him, and then skin him, and then put it around the lamps so the light shines through his hide. Maybe. Or maybe they're going to tattoo lights, and so he's going to be a lamp in hell. Or do mastiffs of flame bite him without mercy? big black mastiffs of flame. Do they bite him without mercy? That's kind of like a Prometheus punishment, just continuing to be eaten by the vulture. Or must he travel without rest, night and day, with the prisoners? Who are the prisoners? The prisoners of hell? Or is he traveling with the prisoners from World War II? Who are these prisoners? I'm not sure. The last one, or must he die without dying, eternally under the gas? Or must he die without dying, eternally under the gas? It's paradoxical to die without dying, but I think we can grasp what he means. Does he kind of die and then not really die, and he's just eternally being gassed, eternally going to death, but not really dying? Wow. Powerful, powerful questions. Questioning the conclusion or the consequences that happen to a person who pushes systemic discrimination on others and on a country and on a world. Instead of what my man Neruda wants us to do, and through these questions asks us to do, to unite, to come together. Here we have, and that's what these questions are doing, they help us to unite the worlds, the outer world with the inner world, and they help us live the questions and think about things in a childlike way, but they help us unite with others too, because others are asking questions, others are concerned, others are worried, others are happy. And these questions can help us be happy with them and be happy in the mystery, but also know that when times are rough, sometimes a question, a poet can say something or ask something that pierces through the mendacity and gets to the core. And maybe this is what Neruda is doing here too. So let us wrap this up. I'm going to read all of these one more time and then bid you adieu. Here it is, poems 70 and 71. What forced labor does Hitler do in hell? Does he paint walls or cadavers? Does he sniff the fumes of the dead? Do they feed him the ashes of so many burnt children? Or, since his death, have they given him blood to drink from a funnel? Or do they hammer into his mouth the pulled gold teeth? Or do they lay him down to sleep on his barbed wire? Or are they tattooing his skin for the lamps in hell? Or do black mastiffs of flame bite him without mercy? Or must he travel without rest, night and day with his prisoners? Or must he die without dying, eternally under the gas? Not easy questions, not an easy topic. But some of the most important topics are not easy. And sometimes a question, like I was saying before, can pierce through the difficulty and make it a little easier to talk about, a little easier to understand. And so with that, thank you for joining me for poems 70 and 71. We only have 72, 73, and 74 left. And I will see you tomorrow for poem 72. Thanks for joining me.